that will educate you,
entertain you.
So join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Every Sunday to Thursday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on your ultimate news and current affairs program on television, This Morning on ITV, TMR. Join us.
Thank you, of course, for joining us, and we go straight to the topic for today, as we did say that regulating the social media and hate speech, the bills before the National Assembly is what we're looking at today. But quickly again, the results are released on the governorship race in Kogi and Bayelsa State. It's also topical that we could summarily look at. And just as Yaya Bello polled about 406,222 votes, and why Engineer Musa Wada polled 189,704. That's quite a huge margin. We have about over 216,000 of Yaya Bello votes, outnumbering that of Engineer Musa Wada. And then we also have that of Bayelsa State, where we have David Leon polling over 355 votes. And looking at the margin again that he used in taking over Doye Diri, we have over 100,000 votes. That again we could call a landslide victory. But well, I have distinguished personalities, array of guests with me to do justice to this as we look at the two sides of the topic that we have today. And from my immediate left, I have a lecturer at University of Benin, and he is a lecturer in the Department of Biochemistry, and is also the senior pastor of Gracevine Chapel. He is Reverend Professor Jerry Ore. Thanks for coming, Professor.
A pleasure, Philip. Good morning, viewers.
And next, I have one-time SecGen NBA Benin branch, and also is a member of the National Executive Committee of the NBA. He is David Maluko. Thanks for coming, David.
Thank you. Good morning, viewers.
I also have another custodian of the law, a legal practitioner, articulated that. Is Chima Williams. And Chima Williams, is great to have you join us again on the show.
Thank you, Philip. Thank you, the audience.
Okay, let's set the ball rolling, and I'll choose to start with you, Professor Jerry. Now, we'll take a bite on the polls, the Kogi, Bayelsa, and the results that just trickled in. What do you make of this, in spite of the fact that there were complaints of widespread electoral fraud and violence?
Well, there are two sides to it. The first is none of us here in the studio was physically present in Bayelsa. We nevertheless had footages of what probably transpired. But that's not sufficient to say exactly what happened. I think the people who can best speak to these are those who voted in Bayelsa. But for a state that had been previously PDP to be so easily overrun, speak volumes.
Speak volumes.
It either speaks to the fact that the government, which is incumbent, did next to nothing in terms of satisfying the aspirations and yearnings of the people, or that the government, the party intending to take over power, did something that is much more than can meet the eyes. But it will be difficult to say exactly what happened. But what is worrisome to me is not necessarily the figures that played out.
Okay.
What is more worrisome to me is the fact that the years down the line, we are yet to conduct an election that is free from contestation. We are yet to conduct an election that is violence-free. We are yet to conduct an election where lives are not lost. That's what is paramount. If Party A, flogged hands down Party B with 1 million vote, I mean, that to my mind is not a serious issue. The real issue are what happened on the day of the election. What happened in the days leading to the election. With Nigeria still experiencing widespread violence during the election, to me, it is completely unexcusable at this time in our democracy.
Okay, let's take a bite on that, David Maluko, looking at the elections so far.
Yes, it's very unfortunate what has played out. Personally speaking, I think it's reprehensible. It is regrettable, highly regrettable, that at this point in time of our national development as a nation, we are taking almost 21 steps backwards. It's not something that you can, by any altar of imagination, be proud of. Yes, as the Prof has said, though we're not physically there, but why do we have the media? Why do we have the news, print, and social media? They make reports of these things. We see them in live footages. Going through the crucible, looking at the history of leaders of Nigeria, the Nigerian nation has produced, I can only single out one person, one individual, who has been bold enough and matured enough to come out to say, the process, the system, the elections which brought me in were not free and fair. And that is the late Musa Yar'Adua. He is the only person in the history of Nigeria who has come and said, the elections that brought me in were flawed. And following to that, he set up the Ways Committee to carry the electoral reforms. Unfortunately, all those reforms and reports are lying somewhere in dust. Nobody has cared to look at them. Nobody has nobody has cared to want to implement them. But however, let me quickly come back to Kogi elections. Bayelsa elections, there are two things to it, two phases to it. One, it is a shame and also regrettable that a sitting governor would just be removed that way, just like the Prof said. It speaks a lot about, one, his competence, two, his performance so far. We are told in the media that he has made some comments as to people who are pure Ijaws and those who are not pure Ijaws, and that has raised up some issues in some parts of the state, and thrown sentiments for the man who had just won, Mr. Leon. So you analyze all these things. With the other things we heard in the news about he's kind of falling out with the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, and all that and all sentiments. Goodluck Jonathan now, campaigning for the present winner. But what is playing out, we are now seeing a lot of personal interest being far and above collective interest. I do not know whatever played out between him and the former president. It has been reported. I always say reported because we were not there.
Yeah. So we take them as
that the former president worked against him. That's Governor Seriake Dixon in Bayelsa. And if that is true, if we are going to go by that, it simply means people are not looking at the collective interest of the people again. People are looking at things that, okay, I will show you, I will do you. It's now over and above the interest of the people you are there to serve. Leaving that aside, let's quickly run to Kogi. Kogi is very funny. The man, Yahaya Bello, is said to be owing over 30 months' salary to civil servants. Civil servants, from records available, compose more than 35% of the population of that state.
And that brings to question issues.
And how can you be so eager, be so willing to fall in love with a man who has put you under perpetual bondage and suffering for about 30 months, and you are so eager to come back another 4 years? It defies normal reasoning. Was it the governor that did that, or in addition to that situation? In addition to that, government found itself. In addition to that, sir, what we watched is snatching of ballot boxes, indiscriminate and incessant shooting, and a few deaths that have occurred in that state. And we will not say, if I were to be Yahaya Bello, on my personal integrity, and self-respect and recognition for human dignity, I will not accept those results. Because I know, just like the late,
you will not accept the result that declared him winner.
Yes, that declared me winner. And that will make it fair in the eyes. You see, we have not yet grown to that stage.
Have we seen any
Nigerian? No, we are not matured to that stage. No, but the truth is this.
That has gone through that.
The truth is this.
So that's a fight cry.
It has to start from somebody.
Yeah.
My brother.
Can I say something quickly, if you don't mind? I want us to be a little bit cautious. Cautious to the sense that if you'd say Yaya Bello should, reject the result and say, well, though you declare me winner, I know I did not win. In my mind, that's already passing a whole lot of judgment.
Yes.
It is not in our place to say who rigged and to what extent rigging was done.
I agree.
So to my mind, the safe place to sit, because like I've always said, I mean, look at the case, the point you just made. It is unreasonable for workers who make 35% of the population to go back again and vote for the person who's been owing them 30 months of salary. But we're in a society where people can vote for 1,000 naira and forget that they have not been paid.
Yeah, but we cannot even prove that.
The election has come and gone.
You're also making theories. You cannot prove that.
That workers are being owed.
Yeah.
It's not sufficient reason to say that they couldn't have voted.
Okay.
They could have voted under other conditions.
Okay,
well,
your analysis on this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, by and large, what we have seen, like I said before, is condemnable. INEC in the right second, I understand they've declared one or two places inconclusive. Now, where is left for the parties to go? The courts. We are coming back to the judicial arena. Now, there's one thing that a lot of people have not averted their minds to. I personally will say, Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief and President of the country, should please sit up with regard to elections in this country. Why did I say that? We have the electoral amendment bill proposed that was sent to him over about 4 times.
You are talking about the 2018.
Yeah, I want to link it. Bill. I want to link it. And if you study that bill very closely and look at the proposed amendment, you will know that if that bill comes into force, if it's given force of life as a law,
a lot of electoral fraud.
We will have these things, this issue of killings, this issue of it will. I tell you, it will kill it 80%. Why? You will not have issues like issues of you have total accredited voters in this area. As you have accredited them, and you have approved the electronic transmission and all that, it is reporting that these are the total accredited numbers. As you are voting, as you finish voting in your unit, you do not have to bring it to contestation. The numbers, the correct numbers is reporting. We have had cases, even in this present Kogi election, there was, I've forgotten the word, that you had more people that voted more than the total accredited number of voters. I'll get it, I read it.
But again, you can also look at the technicalities involved, like what the president did say, and looking at the closeness to the 2019 general elections, which made it not matured enough for us to really go on that path.
That reason, again, is that reason sound enough for the life of any Nigerian?
Again, like you did say,
we lost some lives.
Like you did say,
let's not joke with this. We lost some lives.
Reforms in that direction.
The former president said that no life is quite difficult to stop presidential ambition.
All right,
let's take human life seriously.
Now, Chima, let's look at the lessons learned so far in this election, because we're looking at Edo State next year, and what do you think INEC should put in place, or electoral reforms, like it did say, that should be deployed?
Yeah, you see, before we go into the electoral reforms, one key lesson, have different implications and undertones. Now, I work a lot in the Niger Delta, and I will say this, I'm on national television, okay, and I will say this, that P and Dr. Siraki Dixon will not say with all honesty that they did not expect what happened in Bayelsa to have happened. Because the disenchantment with his attitude in governance, created opportunity. PDP governorship candidate, may have suffered for a cause that he did not create. People visiting their anger on the man supported, even the process that threw the candidate up itself, creates issues for concern. Now, but if you contrast it with Kogi's own election, where people are equally disenchanted, because see, we owe Nigerians the responsibility of telling them the truth.
The truth. Thank you.
There is no pandering about this thing. Everybody, even within APC in Kogi State, have pointed out that Yaya Bello, as the governor, did not perform creditably to their own satisfaction, let alone the ordinary people. So what is the magic that happened?
So you fell in love with him.
So what was the magic? Now, the thing is, the lesson to be learned is that, see, as my learned friend mentioned, the Justice Owai's panel report is there. The Electoral Amendment Bill is there.
That should be revisited.
Okay? And above all, Nigerian citizens should be reoriented.
Absolutely.
Because no matter the type of laws have, it is the implementers of that law that gives life to such laws. The laws on their own means nothing if the implementers do not have the courage to stand by the letters and spirits of the law. Even within the scanty one that we have, if it had been, defended and protected, I do not think that we will have this type of scenario that we're having. My own very good friend and colleague almost lost her life in Kogi. So I am not saying, hearsay, but people that participated on ground, because her team went to monitor, they were only rescued by whiskers. Is that the type of election that we want to have? Is that the type of leadership that Nigerians want to have? We want a leader that every Nigerian will be proud to say, this is my leader. Okay? But a process must throw that up. We've been crying over this over the years. And each year, we have, a situation that is worse than the previous one. But if we look at what has happened in Kogi and in Bayelsa, I will say there is hope for this country.
Okay, so we're looking at the way...
Because one is that a people can free themselves when they think the time is ripe. So you find yourself, where you find yourself, how you find yourself is dependent on your attitude.
Okay, so a lot will still be done to close the gap.
Yes.
Yes, because if you look at future elections.
So looking at future elections, one is that the umpire should be a real umpire. INEC, over these elections, both the general elections and these state elections, have failed in wanting voter education. They have not done enough to educate the masses of Nigerians on the electoral processes and what is required of them, to have an electoral integrity. An election that is conducted with integrity, of any election. If you check the build-up to every election, you already know that people have set the stage to reject the result of the election, even when they know or they suspect what the outcome will be. Okay, so why will you be crying?
Okay. Thank you, Williams. Thank you, Williams. We just have to launch that in order to make a summary of what the elections, how it really went. Big thanks, Jima. Of course, David and Jerry. But, well, let's look at the phase where the issues about reforms and the issues about the bills, amendment bills. But, again, from that, we also have the issues of the bills on
and of course regulating the social media, which was really sponsored by Abdullahi Sabi and Mohammed Sani, respectively, looking at that it has passed through the first reading, and then reactions from the public, which shows that, well, there's need to look at this, what punishment could be given for those who are seen to be offenders in hate speech. Should it get off our fragile peace in the nation?
Well, again, that's what taking both bills now together, right?
Yes, yes.
If you ask me, the two bills to my mind are same bill, coming under different covers, because they are both largely related. And if you ask me again, it's an opportunity for Nigerians to speak to the fact as to whether or not they still like their freedom of expression or they don't. If we want to go down, now, laughable as it was, we were all in that until sometime in 2007, where the Court of Appeal in Abuja had to say that was completely not necessary and against the freedom of expression and freedom to assemble. Now, from then on again, there were other issues that also came up. The sedition bill, law that also came up, which was also texted in Anambra State at a point in time, where someone was tried because he had written a book at that time that was thought to be injurious to the state governor, Jimmy Wobodo of Anambra State at that time. Okay. Again, that went to the Court of Appeal, and the ruling again was saying you should not hide under the sedition to, as it were, clamp down on dissenting voices. People have a right to express themselves. But having said this, it's also important for us to understand that globally we can't run away from the fact that social media
has to be regulated,
has contributed significantly to societal discord all across the globe. I mean, findings are clear. For instance, in Germany, that the increases in attack on refugees were a follow-up, as it were, to hate speeches, campaign on Facebook against refugees that were carried out by the far right. And if you also go to the US, killings, church shootings, mosque killings in mosques in New Zealand, killings in churches in the US, in Pittsburgh of the Jews, the attack on the synagogue, were all related to activities on social media. So it is true that we cannot leave it completely open. But we also have to realize that at the heart of every regulation should be the need to ensure that fundamental human right of self-expression is guaranteed. Is guaranteed. And I think that is paramount. But unfortunately, now that's where I have problem. If you look at the present law, the bill, so to say, yes, against hate speech, even if his understanding of...
So the bill is already a victim.
Yes, if his understanding of the hate speech reflect dissenting voices, then a very big issue to Nigeria. It makes therefore that, no, you can't do this, and you classify that as hate speech. Or like he has said now, people, and I will tell you this for a fact, Nigerians should do us bad there, but this time around, under constitutional cover. And I'm not sure that Nigerians will sit down and allow that pull through. So that the alleged third-term intention of Mr. President pull through. So it's a step ahead of time to clamp down on those who will say no. Sessions are somehow regulated. They'll probably will look into that.
Thank you for that robust response to that question. But back to you, Maduko. You are a legal practitioner and a custodian of the law at my current list.
Expression in all the bills of rights, the world. When you look at the fathers and the framers of constitution, beautiful constitutions for excellent in China and some other Eastern countries. So why are they not say, okay, we want to consolidate on our fight on corruption. We want to show sincerity of purpose. We want Nigerians to believe in our cause. National Assembly is a bill for death penalty for any corrupt that has been proved that this man is corrupt. Why have they not started from there? Why are you starting from the simple right of the citizen to question your act as a leader that is not satisfied with, and is saying, no, I don't agree with this, and you are saying the person should be killed? Where do you hear of that? let us be very careful in this country.
Well, it's a bill, and it's
yes,
not yet,
it is a bill,
yes,
and
so.
it's at this stage that we should speak for or against. And I'm telling you, for these reasons that I'm postulating now, that it will be digging our own grave if the National Assembly goes on to promulgate this bill. It is anti-people. It is of no value, no existential value to us.
Just like the headlines today where the Senate said that they are not standing by that, but that is just a bill.
Yes, and they are trying to push it to the deputy chief whip of the Senate.
Yes.
And now you're trying that they are going on the blame game. And you know why they are doing that? Because of the outcry. And that is that freedom of that outcry is the power of the people. And you're saying you want to subjugate that.
So with all of this, do you see it flying?
I do. I see it having a very neat burial in a very decent coffin.
All right. Quickly, let's take your viewpoint on this, Chima.
Yeah, well, you see, when I see certain things, I am bemused. You know, at this point in time, in the life of this nation, where we have serious challenges that is besetting all of us, our legislators are wasting our, little available resources on a jamboree. Because I will call these bills a jamboree. Because we have had similar, as my brothers have already analyzed, we've had similar situations, and what was the end result? The end result is that in the country,
yeah.
And as my learned friend has summed it up, died a neat death and was given, a very ceremonial burial. Okay? Now, what is the hate speech? When you now begin to talk about a conduct that will attract death penalty, we forget that we have laws in this country. Okay? What does that mean? Don't we have a law that says if through your conduct, by your actions, by your words, try to overrun the state, that's treason. Hate speech is treason by other name called. And, our legislators are just not looking, they are looking at hate speech is beautiful, it sounds good, without looking at the contents. Okay?
Yes.
And if you look at the whole gamut of the provisions on the hate speech law, you'll be sorry for yourself as a Nigerian, honestly. How can thinking people, don't they have reviews? Some of the laws that are in this country are promulgated or passed by them. So they don't look at the existing laws, or they just want to create sensation. Okay? And you talk about social media regulation bill. Hi, come back. Do we have social media regulation bill that, DSS and EFCC and the rest of them are after Yahoo boys? Is it not the same social media interface that Yahoo boys used to operate? Must we, leave serious issues and be pursuing, flimsy things?
Okay.
When they are already.
But you agree. But you agree that to a great extent that the social media should be regulated.
Now, there's already a regulation on that. It's already being regulated. Like I said earlier, my brother, it is not the amount of laws that you churn out that makes you a decent society. It is the attitude of the implementers of those laws.
Okay.
Who is going to implement the hate speech law?
But when
the
you say
will be set up, are they going to import people from the moon?
When you say it's already been regulated, are
Yes.
you making a reference to what you just said about Yahoo boys in court being pursued by EFCC?
Of course. Now there are laws. If you lie against me, okay,
but take away
I take you up.
Okay.
So what are we looking for? Social media regulation bill. How many countries, has that. Must we be the first in the negative? Let us pursue implementation of our existing laws.
When you say how many countries have that, are you by that saying that most countries don't regulate this, the usage of social media?
Maybe I should respond to that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll come back to you, but hold.
Okay. Now, what I'm saying on that is simply this. Like Maduku had pointed out, in the American Criminal Code, there is already a provision similar. Okay? Everything must not be spelled out in black and white.
All right.
Except you call it hate speech.
Okay.
Law. You cannot regulate hate speech. Except you call it social media. You know, when they are in our body of laws, in our criminal laws, there are provisions there to deal with some of these issues.
Thank you very much. As we round off, you wanted to react to what Chima said.
Yes. First, to amplify one point he made, and then secondly, to provide some additional information. First is to say that if you lie against anybody, irrespective of the media that you have used, you have access to seek redress.
Okay.
That's already well laid out. You understand the point I'm making? But however, if you go to the social media space to promote elements that could incite violence, that's a different ballgame altogether.
Okay.
And I'm aware that in several countries, including, in fact, just in July, France passed a bill to regulate their social media space with respect to hate speech.
Okay.
We should not mix the two bills together. The one on hate speech is slightly different, although they have elements in common. The one on hate speech is slightly different from the one on prevention or protection from falsehood.
Fake news.
Fake news, and all of that. So if somebody lies against you, whether he did it by publishing on newspaper, whether he did it, on screen like this, you have mixed to seek redress.
Okay.
But when people attempt to use the social media space to promote this that may result in genocide, that may result in a clampdown on a certain people group, that's a completely different matter.
Okay, thank you. We don't have much time on that. But quickly, let's take your final words on this as you make.
Well, if you look at the proposed bill,
one,
it is very, very inelegantly drafted.
Okay.
It has left a lot of room for wild and dubious speculation.
Absolutely.
So there is no mention. It's talking about two things: the hate speech itself, who does it, and the hate speech commission. And you are setting it up, and you are sort of giving that body powers to adjudicate, powers at the court itself. Because when you do that, you need to go to court first for court to determine. There's no mention of going to court in that proposed bill. So it was horribly drafted, it's upside down, it's anti-people, and it should be discouraged. I condemn it in its entirety.
Thank you. In just 20 seconds, your final words on this.
Well, Nigerians, we have done it before. To tell our legislators this bill is not in good taste. Go back to the drawing board if you must have it. Let the people be consulted. Let people know what will, be acceptable.
Okay.
So that it doesn't become a law in the textbooks.
Thank you.
It will become a living law.
Okay. Thank you so much, Williams. Thank you, David. Of course, Jerry. Thank you so much. I know you all have.
Remember, say na ember more. Accident not just dey happen. Na me and you na dey cause am. The one where drivers dey cause for inside. Na plenty parcel. Make una drive with care. This message na from Independent Radio and Television.
Good morning, viewers. Welcome to the insurance segment. With me in the studio, I have Pastor Datimi Ojokojo. Pastor, you're welcome.
Yeah, good morning, sir, and good morning, viewers.
I think we'll take our quote for the week, and our quote says, prevention is better than cure. Insurance is a solid mechanism to support you. Pastor Datimi, let's take it up from there.
It's a very popular quote, and I think everybody should understand what that means. You know. So prevent the problem, and because curing it is more difficult.
Now, we promised in our last discussion here that we are going to talk about the consequences of the petrol tanker fire incidents at Anambra, the Owelu fire incidents where the spare part market was burnt, the Santana market incidents also, and then the fire incidents that occurred at PZ markets. We want to take this all in a stretch so that we can appreciate what issues relate to and what we can do for an effective management. Now, if we take on the consequence of the petrol tanker incidents that occurred in Anambra State, we're using Anambra because that's the specific point
that was a major
where that incident occurred.
Yeah.
And it can happen anywhere.
Yeah.
And for that reason, let us pick that particular point to x-ray the consequence of that incident so that we can take it one by one to appreciate what the effect of that incident are related to. Pastor.
You know, straight away, we look at damage to the vehicle. The vehicle itself, you know, it was definitely burnt up. Death or injury of passengers.
In such a rush.
Okay, like I said, it was because we know it's a fire incident, and it had to be, it was a petrol tanker. So you expect that the whole vehicle was, I mean, a total loss. All you see is just some scraps, you know, at the end of the day. You know, so a total loss of that vehicle, you know, and the second thing I was just mentioning, death or injury of the passengers, the driver, the motorboy. If they were carrying somebody else, we know the number of people that those trucks do carry.
Maximum 2 passengers.
The maximum 2 passengers and driver. Something may have happened to them. In this case, I know maybe somebody was rescued or something like that, but death or injury of the patient, no, these are consequences of that accident.
Okay.
Then loss of the product, the petrol itself. We are mentioning all these things because eventually we look at where insurance comes in. You know, loss of the products. It was carrying petrol, or maybe carrying diesel, but I think it was petrol. Whichever one, they are both flammable. Whether it's kerosene, flammable.
So if it was a 33,000 liters,
yes,
30,000 liters,
yes,
it will have all gone.
Exactly.
Nothing will have been salvaged
exactly
from the incident, because that is just even a fueling of the fire itself.
Exactly.
So we understand the product will all be lost.
Yes.
That's a big consequence, because where it ought to have been delivered, it's not delivered to that point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then we look at the burnt vehicles, and vehicles were involved. Buildings were involved. Shops were involved. Goods in these shops were all involved in this loss. You know, so that's terrible. Then we have injury, death, people around. Somebody may be trying to evacuate his goods, and then it's not the case, or whether a pregnant woman, because who was running, there was pandemonium, and we know these things. There will be incidents of, you know, some people are injured, fire burning up people, you know, because fire can be very deadly.
Yeah, you know? I think the application of the word highly inflammable will be seen at such a time.
Exactly.
Where you think that the accident that occurred at one point, but the point where it will even have effect.
Yes.
Now, even when there's an explosion, the product will have, you know, come out of the tankers, and if it flows, you see what it will
exactly.
It will go to far distance and light up all such areas. So the issue of injury, death to members of the public
Yes.
Will be very, very high.
Yes.
And just like you said also,
yeah,
burnt vehicles in that area. How much can that be quantified?
Yes, exactly.
So we are bringing all these points so that we can see exactly what we ought to do before we embark on anything. And like we said, this is an accident.
Yeah.
It is not what somebody had programmed, to be.
Yeah.
It had happened in such a sudden way.
Yeah.
And if it had happened in such a sudden way, what are we really supposed to do for a management if it does really occur?
Yes.
And that is why we use the particular point today of our reference in our quote to say that prevention is better than cure. So, Pastor, let us take that on.
Yes.
Some of the issues.
There's one we need to also identify: pains to the family of the bereaved. Whether it's the driver, the motor boy, the people who were involved, the third party family members who were involved, because people who were either trying to evacuate their things or running helter-skelter, who may have died, they have family members. We know of a case of somebody who just died recently and they are asking for next of kin, because sometimes when these people are involved, who are the parents? Who are the children who have been left behind as a result of this incident? Insurance also considers those, because there are policies that take care of such losses, so it's important we have them. Then we also have loss of profit to the owner of the truck, and it could even be loss of profit to somebody who owns maybe a business around, and the person may have taken a loss of profit insurance, So these are important things to identify when we see such, big losses, big
loss in any for such persons whose shops are also burnt.
Yes.
Or houses of people who are also having shops they are built so that they can earn something out of it.
Yes.
So it's not just the issue of
which is a very serious matter. Then displacement of shop/business owners.
Well, for today, we are going to end on this note to say that shop owners prefer to these issues in question. We're talking about it because it affects the economy and the social life of the people.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for watching. God bless you and have a wonderful day.
It's all about getting insured and having a safe future. Join us on Insurance Segment every Tuesday with Dr. BJ Bride on This Morning on ITV.
Thank you for joining us for MCMA reports that the returning officer in the two states made the announcement at INEC collation centers in Lokoja and Yenegua.
There were 181,704 votes. SDP candidates Akpoti polled 9,482 votes. Professor Omar said Yahaya Bello, having scored the highest number of votes, is hereby declared the winner and returned elected.
Suleiman Mohammed Mikael of Party ZLP scored 77 votes. 77. That Bello Yahaya of Party APC, having satisfied the requirements of the law, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected. Thank you very much for your cooperation. Thank you so much.
After the announcement, PDP agent refused to sign the results declared by INEC. The party had dissociated itself from the result, alleging irregularities, voter intimidation, and violence during the conduct of the election. Elsewhere in Yanagua, the APC candidate David Lau was declared winner of the Bayelsa governorship election. The returning officer and Vice Chancellor of the University of Benin, Professor Osase Rumesi, said the APC candidate polled 352,4 552 votes, while PDP scored 143,172 votes. Professor Rumese explained that a total of 500,844 votes were cast, out of which 499,551 were counted as valid votes. Professor Rumese returned Mr. David Lyon as the winner of the keenly contested election after scoring the highest number of votes.
I, Professor Osasere Rumese, hereby certified that I am the returning officer for the Bayelsa State Government election held on the 16th day of November 2019. 2. That the election was contested. That Leon David remaining of APC, having satisfied the requirements of the law, is hereby declared the winner and return elected.
Mr. Leon won in Brass, Keremo, Nembe, Ogbia, Sauta Ijo, and Yenogwa, while Diri won Upukuma and Sagbama local government areas. William Siama reporting.
President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated Yahaya Bello on his re-election as governor of Kogi State. The president also congratulated Bayelsa State Governor-elect Mr. David Lyon, saying that his victory at Saturday's poll was impressive. President Buhari commended INEC and security agencies for discharging their responsibilities under difficult conditions. He sympathized with families who lost loved ones during the poll. The president urged Governor Bello to see his renewed mandate as another opportunity to build on the foundations already laid towards improving the lives of the people of Kogi State. President Buhari also enjoined Governor-elect Leon of Bayelsa State to carry other divergent interests along in the next phase of governance, imploring those not satisfied with the outcome of the poll to seek redress through constitutionally established channels. Meanwhile, reactions have started trailing the results of Kogi and Bayelsa State's election released by INEC, and Patience Usagua has the details.
Soon after the APC governorship candidate in Kogi State, Yaya Bello, was announced winner of the election, the PDP agent rejected the result, describing it as a sham. He stressed that it was manned with violence and refused to sign the result sheets. But the APC agents at the collation center applauded the outcome of the election.
The election is totally marred by violence. There's no need for proof. The proof is daylight. Every reporting, every EO, reason for cancellation, ballot box snatching, violence, intimidation, and the source is only one source.
These are bad losers. The election was very transparent. INEC has done a good job. The security operatives have done a good job. The stakeholder in Kogi State too have done a good job. Even the international and local observer attestified to the election was free and fair.
The re-elected governor of Kogi State, Yaya Bello, condemned the violence that was recorded in parts of the state during the governorship and legislative election in the state.
We as a state government will work seriously to ensure that those who are culpable are brought to justice.
In Bayelsa State, the APC and PDP agents reacted differently immediately the result was released in Yanagwa.
The APC has come to remedy those wrongs, to ensure that the people of Bayelsa State enjoy the dividend of democracy.
It is the worst election in human history, where we have now redefined credible, free and fair election to be an election where nobody dies, provided you rig successfully, you manufacture result, you manipulate result. Because nobody dies, it's a free and fair election.
Reacting, the elected APC governor-elect in Bayelsa State, David Lyon, promised to carry the people of the state along in delivering the dividends of democracy to the people of the state.
I thank the good people of Bayelsa for standing by us in recruiting APC. I believe this victory for APC is a victory for the people of Bayelsa.
INEC declared Kogi West senatorial seat election inconclusive. Patience Osaugiwa reporting.
Meanwhile, the violence that characterized last Saturday's governorship election and National Assembly election in parts of Kogi and Bayelsa states started to elicit reactions from Benin City residents. Ivory Hoya reports that the respondents are calling on the National Assembly to put in place legislation for electronic voting system in our country to check electoral fraud during elections in our country.
Has returned to democratic rule. Several elections have been characterized with violence. The violence in parts of Kogi and Bayelsa State during last Saturday's governorship election deterred the confidence of others in the outcome of the polls. According to these respondents, the magnitude of violence in the Kogi and Bayelsa elections gives cause for concern.
Kogi and Bayelsa elections have come and gone. The results are there for everyone to see. The tales that we have heard, both from the mainstream and social media, are those of bloodletting, ballot snatching, maiming, killing, and all the ugly incidents that have always been associated with elections in this country, except that the magnitude of this latest one leaves everyone benumbed and dazed.
It's very, very unfortunate that at this age, Nigeria is still struggling with total vote buying, killing of electorates.
There is no election in Nigeria that is free and fair. There you must have issues of violence. It must take place. Both parties are guilty of the violence.
What then is the solution to electoral violence in the country?
Let's put infrastructures in place for full-blown electronic voting. We don't lock up the country. People vote with minimum stress. And then, of course, all these stories of late arrival of materials and other logistical problems, snatching of ballot boxes, killing and maiming will be a thing of the past.
The electronic voting system which we had, which we were told and we believed was going to work, without the electoral law to stand by it and to back it up, we are merely wasting our time.
The only way out for Nigeria election is that Ocean A4, two political party and independent candidates, and the party must be found by the government, not by individual, just as what happened within NRC and SDP.
The All Progressives Congress has been declared winner of the Kogi and Bayelsa state governorship election, while that of the National Assembly seat for Kogi West Senatorial District was declared inconclusive. Iboji Horia reporting.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari yesterday met behind closed doors with the Bayelsa State Governor-elect David Leon at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Mr. Leon, who was the APC candidate in Saturday's governorship election in Bayelsa State, was accompanied to the State House by the chairman of the APC Governorship Campaign Council for Bayelsa State, Governor Muhammad Badar Abubakar of Jigawa State. Also with the governor-elect are the Kebbi State Governor, Atiku Abubakar, and the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timpriye Silva. And that's it on the news update for this time. Join me at 12 for the World News. Good morning.
Independent television, certainly the best.
His name is Jesus.
He's more precious than gold.
Jesus is more than gold. He deserves to be celebrated.
Are you a Christian? ITV Radio is organizing a show titled Christmas Igbadu. Come celebrate Jesus with
When coming,
there shall be lots of fun with DJ Ultimate, different artists, cartoon characters, games garden, and other side attractions. Competitions include
I Know My Parents,
football,
color match, balloon busting, skip and race,
etc., with fantastic prizes.
Wow!
Day, Wednesday 25th December 2019. Time, 10 a.m. Venue, ITV Radio Corporate Office, Glass House, Airport Road, Benin City. Gate fee, 500 naira per person.
This program is partly sponsored by KC Devices Phone Shop, sales of phones, laptops, CCTV cameras, inverters, accessories, and gadgets. Number 68, Airport Road, opposite FIROS, before Akensworth Junction, and Shop 68 Bob Israel Complex, opposite Oba Market, Benin City. Telephone 0803-6408-268.
And supported by Builders Inn, the Builders Mart for Tires, Cement, Sanitary, Doors and Roofs. 10 Sokomba Road, 19 and 32 Cook Road, Benin City. Omorege Cyril, CEO, The Prince Builders and Construction Limited. 4 Etete Road, off Upper Desua Road, GRA, Benin City. Destiny Hotel and Suites, a home of comfort and relaxation. Number 8 Isibo Street, off Plymouth and Stadium Road, Benin City. Holloway Sports Shop for fitness and general sports equipment. Number 10 and 16 Stadium Road, Benin City. Christmas Igbadu Ragbata.
Thank you for joining me on TMI Tuesday, the concluding part of it basically. And I'm being joined by the MD CEO of Brighton's Electronics, Prince Dr. Brighton's Ogimoyi. Many thanks for coming, Brighton.
Thank you so much.
Well, it's quite a while now, and looking at your products that have been circulating in the market, and one would say, because you're always an achiever and you find a way to update what you've done so far. So, but the big one here is a lot of people could be wondering now that you've been able to get up to this level in the market. What can you say you have added to your certificate, like having your products SON covered?
Yes,
and we say that that achievement has been.
Yes, of course, yes.
Great.
You see, by the grace of God, I keep telling Nigerians that Brighton's Electronics Company is a research establishment where we go into manufacturing of Brighton's inverters, Brighton's solar panel, Brighton's fixed selectors, Brighton's automatic changeovers, and Brighton's MPPT solar charge controllers. I want to let you know that by the grace of God, the Brighton's inverter battery has been fully certified by Standard Organization of Nigeria, and that means the battery can be exported to any neighboring country. You see, the truth is you can't export a product that is not certified by Standard Organization of Nigeria. So if you're a distributor hearing our voice, I want to let you know that the Brighton's inverter battery has been fully certified by SON, just like most of all the products are already certified by SON. And taking a look at the screen, you will see some of this product being displayed on the screen. So that is the Brighton's inverter battery you are taking a look at the moment. It's certified by SON. It's a quality, durable battery. So even if you have a foreign inverter before, you can get our batteries. Or maybe you have our inverter before, you can come for our batteries. That is the certificate you are looking at on the screen. Okay. That is certificate from SON.
Pretty, that just came into my mind, and I never knew that you already got that. But let's look at what makes your product, because we have other products, you know. What makes your product different from other products?
And the truth is, as a research establishment, first, there are some things we deliberately put into our product to make it outstanding in the market. For example, the Brighton's inverter machines, or the pure sine wave inverters, they are LED displaying pure sine wave. They are complete digital inverters, and they have double system circuit breakers. They have double system cooling fan. They have thunderstorm resistant facility, which is things you may not find in the foreign inverters. And again, the Brighton solar panel is high quality, durable panel. They are solar panels that does not drag thunder lightning. and you don't need to be buying thunder arrestor in that house. You don't have to be re-earthing that place, because we discovered that most customers may not be the owner of the residence where they live. So you don't have to now be re-earthing a house that is not yours or buying thunder storm arrestor, because that solar panel is original, and any high quality solar panel is not expected to be dragging thunder lightning, because thunder is a source of electricity. So I want to let you know the panel is original, it wouldn't drag thunder lightning. Then another difference between our charge controller and the foreign ones is our own Brighton solar charge controller does what we call is MPPT, that's the maximum point tracker device. So it tracks the sun intensity at maximum point. So that means if you are getting our charge controller, it does what we call power summary. Every day it stores every energy trapped from the sun. So even if you travel and you are back to your base, you can easily go to the charge controller to find out if it has been working or not, which is what you may not be able to get in the foreign ones. Although we have some foreign ones we also sell that are cheaper than ours, but just that they will not be able to charge 12 volt, 24 volt, 36 volt, 48 volt inverter battery system at the same time.
What security do your customers and prospective customers would have for using your products?
Yes, one of the incentives we do right now, we sell our product at promo discounted prices, number one. Number two, we can allow you to do installment payment plan. Then number three, if you have our product before, and maybe you are using like a 1 kVA brightness inverter, you now wish to upgrade to a 1.5 kVA or a 3 kVA that can carry your ACs and borehole, you will return the one you bought before as long as it's our product. You now upgrade to a higher kVA. But if you are using our product, you introduce 6 of your friends to buy from us, we give you the next kVA upgrade free of charge. Free of charge means you wouldn't need to pay for that one. So we take the 1 kVA, for example, give you a 1.5 kVA. And I want to let you know that our 1.5 kVA inverter is 12 volt. It can power a small deep freezer. Our 3.5 kVA is 24 volt. It can power AC of 1 horsepower. It can power borehole of 1 horsepower. And I want to let you know that if you also have what we call the new technology inverter ACs or inverter deep freezers or inverter washing machine, they are excellently compatible with our inverters because they won't be draining so much current from the batteries.
Do you give guarantee or warranty for your products?
Of course, all our product has minimum 1 year warranty. All the product has minimum of 1 year warranty. And so the one thing you should know is that during your warranty period, if the product is as a result of a manufacturer defect, it is repaired free of charge. But there's something called consumer error. For example, you are using an inverter, you decide to turn water inside the machine and it has a problem. That's a consumer error. Or maybe you know that the inverter is a 1 kVA, you decide to put a load of about 5 kVA on the machine deliberately, okay, and then there's a problem to the circuit. That's a consumer error. The customer will pay for the repair. But however, the most important advantage of buying anything from Brighton's Electronics Company, we are the manufacturers. So if there's any after-sales service, your after-sales service is certainly guaranteed that a company that claims to have manufactured a product should be able to fix it for you.
Okay, how do you handle clients who don't have all the money to pay at once? Do they finish payment before they pick the product, or they can pick?
It depends on what they want, and depends on what they are going for, and depends on how expensive what they are looking for. So there are some that you may need to pay everything before you come to the office to carry. But what we do is that we will give you at a promo discounted price for about maybe 3 or 4 months. You'll be paying on installment. Anytime you make payment, we send you a text message to acknowledge the payment, or we send you an official temporary receipt in case you are not in Benin. So, but however, if you are getting the product on installment, depending on what you are going for, if it's something that we will tell you, pay this amount of money, they install it for you, then you pay the remaining on instrumental bill, that's higher purchase. But if you don't want to do higher purchase, you want to get it at a discounted price, whenever you are done paying, it is cheaper for the customer.
Okay, great, good to know that. Now, let's look at how you can pass knowledge from what you've gotten to others. Do you have trainings or?
Yes, when you are looking at the screen just now, you will see some of the training programs it was displayed on the screen. You see, right now, these are certificates issued to people who came to build inverter in our company. You can see that these people came to learn how to do practical-oriented programs. And you can see that one, that is the inverter he's holding in the hand. So I want to let you know that one thing you certain about Brightness Electronics Company, even for secondary school, if you are a proprietor or a proprietress, you hear our voice. From secondary school, we can come and start training people on vocational studies and technical training program on skill acquisition. That's a secondary school where I'm lecturing and teaching people how to rebuild some of these our products from SS1 to SS3, so that by the time you are done with your WAEC, you can fall back to yourself to feed yourself with a skill acquisition before heading again into the university, because we realize the government is not being able to employ every graduate coming out from the university, coming out from the NYSC every year. So because of this, we took it as a part of our company corporate social responsibility to transfer this knowledge from one generation to another, so that it doesn't get missing along the line. And again, one thing I must let you know is that those people who are enrolled in the university or in the polytechnic who have been sent for their industrial attachment or IT placement can come to Brightness Electronics for practical oriented skill acquisition program.
Okay, so that means you have a training center and your accommodation, your office apartment. Let's get the address.
Okay, so Brightness Electronics Company, like I always say, is located at number 30 Federal Government Guest College Road. Number 30 Federal Government Guest College Road, near UBTH in Ugbowo, Benin City. We open our office on Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday only from 10 o'clock in the morning to 5 p.m. in the evening, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because we use Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday to either do production based on our staff strength or install inverters or products already paid by other customers.
Great, good to know that you've been able to be with me on show today. But let's look at the better side of offers that could be given at discounted rates. What are the products? Will it cover all the products?
No, for now we are selling the Brightness solar panel at a discounted price, the Brightness alternator booster at a discounted price, because we discover we are approaching the Christmas season. Most people who use what they call heat element electrical materials such as pressing iron, especially tailors, fashion designers or dry cleaner, we are trying to give them at a discounted price, so that when you are doing your laundry services and pressing your clothes with the pressing iron, you know that dragging effect that goes to your generator, so that it will be reduced, so that you don't damage your generators on time and prolong the shelf life of the gen, so that you don't have to be buying half engine every time on your generator. So for those who are into laundry services, fashion designers or tailoring, you need the Brightness alternator booster to prolong the shelf life of your generator.
Okay, thank you very much, Prince Brightness. Okay, on you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Quite good to know that you're able to do this and also focus on your medical profession.
It's not easy. The truth is not easy, because engineering is one side, the medical practice is another side. There are two extremes, but we give God the glory for the God-given talent.
I think you are a rare species. You're born with double destinies.
You can say that again.
All right, this will call it a wrap. Big thanks to all those who made it worthwhile, because we're here, because you're there. And on behalf of the entire production team that made today's edition a success, I'm Philip Omo Gupon, and I'm saying stay away from trouble and do have a beautiful day. Goodbye.